Thanks for the slow clap. I appreciate it. All right, guys, please don't all crowd around here. I know there's not a lot of space. Really intimate here. Welcome to the Grad Student. Let's look at the paper. Well, it's been a long day, seriously. Did you all go to Grid? Thank you, seriously. I was there all day. Anyway, so the Grad Student Appreciation Week comedy show. We hope you have fun. I'm just here, again, like last year, to try to warm up the crowd. And if I suck, then it's okay because I didn't audition. They made me just do it, literally. They were like, you're just doing it. So I guess one of the first things that I wanted to mention was grad housing. I live in grad housing, and you know the walls are really thin, and you get really intimate with your neighbors. So for example, you see your neighbor coming up the stairs, and you're like, oh, there's the troll coming, which is my nickname for him because he's really short. Hope he's not here. I actually don't know his name, but yeah, really short. I hear him walk. I hear him when he does the dishes and everything. It's really great. I also hear them having sex a lot. And to be honest, I gotta give them props because they're having sex on a school night at midnight. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I'm tired. Like, I get home at like 6, put on Netflix, and I'm in my jammies at 9, reading a book. And I even have a recording because I was like, this is ridiculous. I can hear them moaning, and then you hear the like, and then it goes like, it's irregular, and you're like, and you sort of wonder what's happening, and then they move, they stop, he goes out to get water, comes back, I hear all this. He goes back, and then they go to the next wall, and then I guess he's standing up or something because I just hear the steps, and then it's just like in the corner of the room, and again, it's just like, it's just irregular, so that's kind of funny that it's really, really weird. So part of me, I recorded it literally, and I made a Vine about it, because I was just like, it's not possible that it's like I'm down here and I can still hear everything. I hear the grunts, I hear the moaning. So I was just planning to rip that into a CD and just leaving it in front of there, like sexy, like best sexy times or like best hits or something like that, because that's really intense. Sorry. So I was recently told I don't sound Puerto Rican, and I'm Puerto Rican. And so what is your reaction to that? My reaction was like, I can sing you West Side Story if that's what you want. I'd be like, I like to live in America, okay, by me in America, right? All right. Okay, some of you laugh, so at least some of you have seen West Side Story. For those of you who haven't seen musicals, maybe like some Don't Be Fooled by the Rocks that I got. I'm still Jenny from the block, no? I have the butt, I don't have anything else. Sorry, guys. About the musicals, I didn't want to be a stereotype and be a gay man that loves musicals, so for the longest time, I literally hated musicals. And now I literally cry every time I hear Les Mis. I Had a Dream because I think of grad school. It's really sad. Or Let It Go, right? It's on repeat. Like seriously, Let It Go. I can't even deal. I don't even like the movie. It's just literally that song. It's just amazing. Really bad character development though, but. So I really didn't know how to segue that into actually the fact that our graduation gowns for PhDs cost $1,000, and to rent it is like $200, which is ridiculous. So since I'm not a woman, and you have to be a woman to be able to do this, what I'm saying, I'm gonna make my graduation day when I eventually graduate my wedding. I'm gonna be a bridezilla in like the PhD gown. So I'm just gonna be like, this is my fucking day, you're not ruining it. Where are my shoes? Where are my shoes? Why are you trying to ruin my day? Literally, I'm gonna flip tables and go like, prostitution whore! That's from New Jersey Housewives, for those of you who don't know. Prostitution whore? All right. All right, so let's give it up for our host, Jamel Johnson.
Your first act coming to the stage is a doctoral student in biological studies. Please put your hands together for Corey Rennolds!
Thank you for coming to watch a few people you don't know say things to you that you don't need to retain. Making a good use of your time. And if you all look under your seats, at least one of you will find a strong sense of disappointment. Like David, I've also been told I don't sound Puerto Rican, which is good because I'm not Puerto Rican. I'm a first-year graduate student. I finished up undergrad last year, got that degree. I actually got 6 degrees because I majored in Kevin Bacon. I took an abridged version of American Studies in my sophomore year. It only lasted 1 day. All the white students got A's, everyone else had their things stolen. They were told it was their fault. They should have worked harder and stopped being so lazy. Strangely enough, those of us who passed the class maintain a very high opinion of this country. I forgot what I was going to say. Oh yeah, I was going to tell a joke about forgetting what I was supposed to say. Do y'all like that show, Game of Thrones? Cool, good for you. I don't. It looks a little too complicated for me. I'm still trying to figure out the game of life. Damn you, Milton Bradley, you demon of puzzles. I don't see how I end up with a mobile home every single time. But I'm also waiting for the episode of the show where every character in the show dies and the series ends, so that everyone will shut the fuck up about it, and I can stop using hacky premises in my act. But I'm also waiting for... I heard next season on the show, they're going to run out of cast members and just start killing off the crew. First episode, they'll kill the gaffer, so everything's really dark. Then they'll kill the sound guy, so you can't hear anything. Hopefully they'll kill off all the writers, so it'll just be improv, and that might like it. There was a story in the news a while back, maybe a year or 2 ago, an article, which I read because I'm literate. Ladies. It was about a young girl who stabbed her brother with a kitchen knife whilst fighting over a bag of Cheetos. This is something we really should have seen coming. It says right on the bag that they're dangerously cheesy. Good people at Frito-Lay have been warning us for years, and something finally happened. They weren't just fucking around with us. We didn't listen, and that's blood on our hands now. I once ate cheese made from milk of magnesia. It was like Schrodinger's cheese. I was both constipated and not constipated at the same time. The first time I ever fell in love was at a Subway restaurant. I went there for lunch once. It was a dark period in my life. The girl who made my sandwich put a big squirt of sriracha on it without me asking. I decided I was going to marry her. Sorry, I'm getting turned on just talking about it. She showed in that moment of pure spontaneity what it means to really put the artist in sandwich artist. It was a sandwich made from the heart. I was almost expecting to open it up and find out that she wrote her phone number in the sriracha, but I didn't consider this likely scenario until I had taken a big bite out of it. Like, shit, I was gonna call you, girl, but I got hungry. Ate the last 3 digits. The way to a man's heart is truly through his stomach. I went back the next day to ask her out, but overheard her telling the customer ahead of me that the cold cut combo was her personal favorite, and I realized we could never be together. She was also like 60. My grandmother on my dad's side of the family is of Polish ancestry. She's also kind of old. She is a grandmother after all. That's a requirement amongst her people. So it just altogether makes her the best stereotype. She's not very good with modern technology. She actually just got her first cell phone sort of recently. And I remember she was on vacation somewhere, I think in Chicago. She was up at the top of the Sears Tower, some other tall structure if it was actually another city. And we decided to call her to see how she was doing on her new cell phone, make sure she didn't break her hip on the flight of stairs to the way to the top. And when she answered, she sounded really surprised. She said, "Whoa, how'd you know to call me here?" Who else but grandma? It seems like it's a thing for some people to not answer their phones or text messages or emails. I think since it's become so easy to communicate over long distances now that it's become cool to be impossible to get in touch with. Like before smartphones and social media and all that, the way to be popular was to know everybody and have everyone's phone number and always be hanging out with everybody. Now it seems like it's become whoever never answers their phone in any capacity and is never seen by anyone for weeks or months at a time is now the coolest person you know. And if you ever do happen to run into them in person, they'll say something like, oh yeah, sorry, I was just too busy and forgot to get back to you. And that's fine if they actually are busy and don't just want to give off the impression that their life is meaningful. But then you'll notice they had plenty of time to go on Facebook or Instagram to post a picture of the food they were eating every night. So I've decided to just take it to the next logical phase, and every time I see someone post a photograph of their meal online, I'll respond with a picture of the shit that I took the next morning. Like, hey, look, we were eating the same thing. I was just a little too busy to get a picture of it until later on. My name's Corey Rennolds. Thanks, guys.
One more time for Corey Rennolds right there, man. Oh, man. It's biological sciences. I said studies because I didn't go to real school. You know what I'm saying? That was my bad. I went to Northern Virginia Community College for about 3 weeks. Nova in the house. Yeah, man. I wish I had fucking stayed, man. I should have just stayed. I couldn't deal because it's basically everybody from my junior year homeroom. That's what I had in all my classes. Like, I don't like any of these people, man. Community college, man. It's just high school with ashtrays. There we go. That was a little bit of a better reaction. You guys ready to keep the show going? Clap your hands so I believe it. Yeah. So next performer coming to the stage is a master's student in information management. Please put your hands together for Mr. Qaddafi. Sabree, everybody.
All right, so I'm going to dumb it down a bit. I know we're all grad students and everything, but it's Maryland, right? It's not Harvard. I mean, come on. I mean, it's a good, respectable school, but come on, just keep it real. So, yeah, so I have a gas problem. And it's so bad, and it's haunted me for all of my life, and it's always been with me. I'll never forget, I was over my girlfriend's house one time, and we were watching TV, and I feel my stomach rumbling. And she goes, hey, can you pass him a remote? And so I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll get it. And so she asks again, can you get the remote for me? And I'm like, yeah, I'll get it in a second. So she thinks I'm into the show, but I'm about to like explode. And so she goes, well, if you weren't gonna get it, all you had to do was say so. And I go, I'll get it. So we both look at each other. I don't know what to say. And my girlfriend's Jamaican, so she thinks I can't understand her when she's on the phone, but I understand. So she's on the phone with her mom. She goes, Mommy, the man burnt a hole in me couch. No, Mommy, the man don't smoke. He blew his bum. So I'm like, man, I got to do something about this. So I went to my brother. Now my brother, he gives good advice. He's a little older than me, wise, street smart. He's been to jail a few times. So when he says something, I listen. So he couldn't help me out with this particular situation, but he was giving me some advice on something else. And he goes, hey man, check it out. I'm gonna tell you like this old cat told me. And he starts giving me the advice, and I'm listening. I'm like, this is really good advice. But I've heard this somewhere before. Where have I heard this advice before? I'm thinking, old cat, are you talking about Dad? He goes, oh, so you know him. Yeah, I know Dad. Well, I mean, I don't know him. I mean, I've seen him a couple of times. I mean, I don't really speak to him. Yeah, I saw him in the store the other day. He didn't really notice me. He was with his real kids. So I grew up in Florida. Any Floridians? No? Good, because Floridians are dumb, real dumb. I would go to summer school every year for math. Same subject, math. So the thing about summer school is there are 2 classes, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. Well, I was only there for math, but I couldn't just take one class. My mom had to work, she couldn't pick me up, so I had to choose another class, so I chose band. Well, I'm in band class, and our teacher was a triathlete, and she would run 5 miles every day before class. One particular day, the showers weren't working. So she comes into class, and the stench fills the room. And everybody's just like, oh my gosh, oh wow. And the tuba guy, he's in the back, he goes, oh man. That's the way people talk in Florida, right? And so she goes up to the front of the room, gets in front of the podium, taps her sticks, lifts up her arms. The whole front row just falls out. Piccolos, flutes, everything just littering the floor. So then, it's like, man, I go to math class. And I'm in math class, and I'm trying to concentrate, and I'm focused. I'm like, man, I can't keep going to summer school. I got to get this. This is not that hard. So I'm looking at the board, and from like, not the side, not the back, from like diagonally, I hear this voice, this female voice. And she's going, Gorbachev, hey Gorbachev, you gonna bomb us today, Gorbachev? Now my name is Qaddafi, so I'm like, wow, she must be talking to me. But I'm trying to ignore her. So I'm focused, and I hear her again, Gorbachev, hey Gorbachev, you gonna bomb us today, Gorbachev? Find it, tuba, he's in the back, he goes, oh man. I'm like, all right, now I gotta do something, I gotta say something, I can't let her get away with this. So she goes to say it again, Gorbachev, and I stand up and I say, who do you think you're talking to? I'm standing my ground, this is Florida, right? Who do you think you're talking to? I don't have to take this from you, I will. So the room is silent, and I stand there, straighten myself up, I go, does that answer your question?
One more time for Qaddafi, Sabree, everybody. Hey. Fucking Florida. If it wasn't for oranges, I wouldn't give a shit. You know what I'm saying? But I have a real orange juice problem. You know, once they started putting the mango in that Simply orange juice shit, then I got real concerned with what was going on down there. Like, we gotta get it. We gotta get this shit under control, guys. I need my juice, all right? If you guys haven't figured out that I smoked some weed before the show, then you need to pay better attention. Come on, college. You guys ready to keep the show going? Enthusiasm, right here. This next guy coming to the stage is a doctoral student in mechanical engineering. Give it up for Matt Dahlhausen, everybody.
I'm Bill Cosby. Let me lower this down a bit so we can hear. That's bright. Well, I went to some of the events today. I was pretty happy about that. The research interaction. When I first read that, I read that as social interaction. I'm like, oh, good. We don't get much of this. So, Okay, so something a bit untraditional from traditional stand-up. I'm doing a song. It's called the Grad School Blues. So let's begin here. Can you hear the guitar okay? Great. You arrive on campus enthusiastic, determined, and ready to learn. There's lots of unknowns out there, and you figured you'd take your turn. But after 2 days in class, you start to wonder how long this mistake will last. Grad school isn't what you expected, so sing the grad school blues. Well, you joined a lab the PI approved, your first experiment. Kind of hard when the undergrad burned a hole in your bench. Using pipettes, sprained your hand, and now Velcro shoes are in demand. Oops, that was the wrong buffer, so sing the grad school blues. Stay up a few nights a month to stab rats at precise times. You're testing a new type of drug, hope you got the right enzyme. It's probably best to not ponder the lethal dose of coffee, 'cause caffeine has replaced your blood, so sing the grad school blues. Gather up all your 3 friends and the tech guy down the hall. As a sample of the adult population, no way this could go wrong. Significance of .051, whatever. Steve's an outlier anyway, and the reviewer isn't gonna read your paper, so sing the grad school blues. Well, this week's been all sunny weather, and you've been sitting inside, working hard to complete your conference lecture slides. But you present on the last day, and no one will be there anyways. Sorry, conferences don't raise impact factors, so sing the grad school blues. Finally finished with your dissertation, printing it will kill a tree. It'd be nice if someone read it, hopefully your committee. At least it's carbon sequestration archived in the library, and it'll only yield 1 journal paper, so sing the grad school blues. Well, you're finally out and you've gotten lucky to be adjunct faculty. You now lecture to a wall of laptops, students half asleep. And when your students graduate, they will make more than you. And you will still be fighting for funding, so sing the grad school blues.
One more time for man Dahlhausen, man. He said, bring all your 3 friends. Oh, that shit was just funny to me, man. You guys ever realize that your friends are like not good people? Anybody ever have that realization? That your friends are like not good? Like they're your friends. They help you, but they're just generally bad people? I got into an argument with a friend of mine for an hour. He tried to make me feel like I was an asshole for wearing Nike shoes with Adidas socks. Not gonna explain the rest of it. Good enough. More jokes? Clap your hands. This next guy is a master's student. I don't know if it's working on an MBA and MSIS or has an MBA and MSIS. Once again, Northern Virginia Community College, 3 weeks. I do know he's cool. Put your hands together for Mr. Ted Rowe, everybody.
What's up, Terps? How y'all doing tonight? Thank you all for coming out. Don't see many of my MBA cohorts here with me tonight. True story, there's actually a networking event, and that's where they all are. Because business cards are the crack of the MBA world. Got that obsidian shit. My name is Ted Rowe, or as I've been known since about mid-February, Edward T. Rowe, date of birth February 14th, 1982, social 543-927514. Oh, but don't worry, your grades are safe. That C+ you got in art history 5 years ago is between us, you, and God. You're welcome. So that's cool. I'm originally from the Boston area. Okay, ambivalence, like it. But having a good time down here in Maryland. Doing a lot of, keeping busy, a lot of work, a lot of study, and a lot of eating. Little too much eating, actually. I'd like to give a shout out to all my friends in Taco Bell. See you in about an hour, and again in an hour and a half. So, no, it's bad, but you know, I know I'm put on a few pounds, but it's, you know, and I could eat better and I could exercise, but I'm married, so why would I do that? That's kind of the point. No, it's tough, but I actually, a couple of months ago, I did actually hop on the old Wii Fit for the first time in a while. That was a mistake, because, all right, so you get on the little, you guys know Wii Fit, you get on the little board thing, or do whatever, and it kind of measures you, and there's this happy robot voice. It's like, measuring, and I'm like, yeah, I'm getting into it, and then it just like plops up my way, and it's like, she's so disappointed. It's like, that's obese. And your little avatar, your little me thing, it just transforms from normal me to like this bloated super Cartman me. And I'm like, what the hell? Honey, do I look like that? And she's like, yeah. But I found out why. It's because it bases it off a goal weight. And my goal weight is apparently around 120 pounds. I would have to lose another human. A small human, like a Peter Dinklage. I need to lose 1.2 Dinklages. Game of Thrones, welcome back, engineers. So, oh man, all I can say, it's a good thing I never started smoking, because I cannot imagine being more winded. That's my segue. Have you all seen the new anti-smoking commercials that are coming out now? No, we've dedicated our lives to study. All right, well, pretend you're normal for a moment. So, all right, so there are these new commercials, and then, like, one of them, a girl is peeling off her skin, and another one, a guy's, like, yanking his teeth out of the cash register, and I'm watching, I'm like, okay, enough. We're not going to smoke. We get it. We don't need a Saw movie to tell us this. You've been doing this for 3 decades. Anyone who's still smoking at this point falls into 2 camps. Can't quit because they're chemically addicted, or just don't care. Nah, lung cancer. Nah. But that's a smoker. But I actually want to meet the guy who's like still sitting at home and watching that ad, 30-year-old smoker guy, is just sitting there, sees that commercial, and he's just like, wait. Smoking is bad? I got to admit, I feel bad for smokers at this point. I mean, sure, they smell horrible, and I cringe every time they sit next to me on a bus, but I feel the same about fat people, and we don't make them stand out in the rain. Please don't make me stand out in the rain. No, but it's gotten worse and worse. You know, it was gradual. It used to be, you know, oh, you can only smoke in certain sections. And then a few years later, it was like, oh, you can only smoke outdoors. And now we're at the point where it's like, oh, you can only smoke in designated smoking zones. These areas is where it's okay for you to be you. And the rest of us don't want you around us. It's sad. Has society ever turned on a group so fast? I mean, you're looking at, you're in a restaurant. Have you ever been in a restaurant and someone tries to light up a cigarette? Instant villain. First, they're threatened with arrest, and then they're thrown back out in the rain, and he's like, I'm so cold. And it's like, no, you get back to your shame rectangle, and you think about your life. And he's just sitting there like, it used to be so much better for us. This land was ours. We used to be free. Can we at least put in like a slot machine or something? My name's Ted Rowe. Thank you guys so much.
One more time for Ted Rowe, everybody. Getting them a little stair work, cardio. Okay, we got one more grad student left, and then we've got a super sweet professional comedian headliner. You can tell he's a professional comedian because he showed up with a duffel bag. I don't know why I'm so pumped. Anyway, so this next guy coming to the stage is a doctoral student in mathematics. Please put your hands together. What do you say for Matt Begué, everybody?
All right, everybody. Welcome, welcome. You in the back, can you hear me? Good. Let me tell you about myself. PhD student in mathematics. I grew up in Connecticut, and I was raised a Catholic. Now, that doesn't mean anything. I was also raised to believe in Santa Claus, and that turned out to be a load of shit, too. But I was raised Catholic, and part of that meant that I had to go to CCD, Sunday school, and learn about my religion. And I thought it was interesting what they decided to teach us and what they decided not to teach us. I thought they were skipping over some very natural questions. Like, I wonder about Jesus when he was a kid. Everybody knows Jesus was a carpenter when he was a kid. How did he not have the most successful carpentry business in history? Right? I imagine people must have come up to him saying, Jesus, these chairs are amazing. They do miracles for my back. And he would just say, yeah, I know. I wonder about, Jesus was Jewish, right? So he was circumcised. What did they do with the foreskin? You can't just throw it away like a regular Jew. This is Jesus fucking Christ we're talking about. This is going to be valuable someday. I wonder about, after Jesus was circumcised, on the third day, did the foreskin come back to life and grow another penis? It's a natural question. After I wrote that joke, I did a little research, Wikipedia. There's a church in Italy who claims they have Jesus' foreskin. They keep it in a little jeweled box, and they're so proud of it, and they parade it through town every day, until one day in 1983, somebody stole the foreskin. True story, and to this day, they don't know where it is. Nobody knows where the foreskin is. I just checked on my phone on eBay. It's not on eBay. You gotta go on Craigslist for shady shit like that. Shit. Have you ever thought about how dumb horses are? They're pretty dumb. Think about it. You get on a horse, you sit on a horse, and you have a car animal. And it will go wherever you tell it to for as long as you tell it to, and it will ask no questions back. If you were mean, like really, really terrible person, you could just have a horse walk off a cliff, and it'll just walk off and die. And all of his horse friends in the stable will be like, hey, did you hear Dave died? And they'd be like, oh shit, what happened to Dave? And they'd be like, well, his rider just kind of steered him towards a cliff. And they go, ah shit, what can you do? Poor Dave never stood a chance. Come on, horses, think for yourselves. Think for yourselves, man. You watch movies, like war movies that take place in the 1700s, 1800s, and these generals will ride their horses to war, and you can see the battle, and people are shooting each other, and guys are dying, horses are dying. The horse should say, yeah, I'm not going over there. No, what happens is the general's like, charge, and the horse is like, okay, and they go balls deep into a bloodbath. Think for yourselves, horses. It's embarrassing. Grow a pair, man. Horses, they got big dicks and no balls. It's embarrassing. No other animal in the animal kingdom will do this. Will let you do this to you. You jump on a tiger and say, giddy up. It'll eat your fucking face off. Shit. Could you imagine if this happened to you? You're at your apartment, just chilling, watching TV, and a little man jumps on your back and says, yeehaw! Giddy up, we're going to Baltimore. I'll be like, A, first of all, fuck you. I don't want to go to Baltimore. And B, come on, man, at least give me like a carrot or something. So, horses are dumb. But it's good to be back. I'm the only returning comedian. I performed here last year. I gotta tell you though, we gotta change the name of this show. It was so hard to promote this show. Hey everybody, come to the University of Maryland Graduate Student Appreciation Week comedy show. Jesus, we need like a sexy, like one word, like Bonnaroo. Come to Bonnaroo. I think we'd get a few more seats filled. But hey, I gotta ask a question about grad school, because this really annoys me. Round of applause. Has anyone here been approached about unionizing graduate students? Yeah, waste of time. Well, I can't speak for everybody. I only know what's going on in the PhD department and the mathematics department. But, you know, like, I don't know, like maybe in the geology department, they got you guys locked up making iPods for pennies a day. I don't know what's going on. But over down the hill in the math department, life is pretty sweet. And we don't need to unionize. First of all, in the PhD program, Maryland will pay for your tuition. Sweet, deal break. I mean, that seals the deal right there. I'm in. But on top of that, they're going to give us a salary too. I feel like this is like a mistake. Every day I check my mailbox for a letter from the University of Maryland that says like, yeah, we fucked up. We only meant to do one of those things. So you're not going to get paid anymore. And I'll be like, yeah, that sounds right. So if your job is literally to go to school and get paid for it, you don't need to unionize. But we got to work for that money, right? We work hard, right? Yeah. Not only do we have to take our own classes, but I have to TA calculus twice a week. 3 times a week if you're unlucky. Shit. If your job requires that you literally only have to come in twice a week, you don't need to unionize. But wait a second, I fucking love calculus. I know that shit like the back of my hand. And I feel like so fucking smart when I'm teaching these kids about calculus. And they think I'm a goddamn genius. So if your job requires that you talk to a bunch of 19-year-olds for 2 hours a week about shit that you know really, really well, you don't need to unionize. Recently, the math department bought a fucking ping pong table. This is true. We're going to have a fucking tournament next week, a little ping pong tournament. If your employer buys you a ping pong table to improve morale, you don't need to unionize. And then finally, the piece de resistance. Every day in the math department at 2:45, we have a little thing called cookie time, where they provide coffee, tea, and cookies to all the graduate students for free. Now, if your employer has a spot every day set aside that's known as literally cookie time, you don't need to unionize. That's my time, everybody. Thanks very much.